What's up, guys? It's Chris here. Today we had a Veve community update. It was a video that Alex guided between Dan Crothers and David Yu, just kind of discussing some general updates for the community. In this video, I plan to condense that hour-long update and as short as I possibly can. Before I get into that, I do weekly NFT and crypto videos. I do Veve and Ecomi videos all the time and a bunch of other projects. If that's something that benefits you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can keep up with the most recent videos. And if videos like this that will save you time from watching an hour-long video and I'm able to explain it all to you, if that benefits you, please be sure to hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm so that I can make more in the future. And without further ado, I'll get right into it. I do want to say that I'm not going to give a whole lot of opinion in this video. I'm just going to explain my notes and maybe some thoughts on the situations, but overall I am just the messenger. So if you have complaints, you're welcome to share them down in the comments. There's nothing I can do for you. Again, I'm just covering what I watched, but let's look at it. So the first big thing that I noticed, and these are mainly the highlights, is that eventually everyone will need to do KYC. That is a very controversial issue, as you know. Again, not going to give a whole lot of opinions on it, but that is what they said. Once they roll it out, it looks like in order to log back in, you will need to KYC. And for any new users after that point, they will need to KYC. So some people love it because it's going to help with the bot problem. Some people hate it because they would rather remain anonymous, or maybe they have multiple accounts, or maybe their kids have accounts and they're too young to KYC. I see great reasons on both sides, so you can develop your own opinion on that. Next week, they are doing a removal of gem transfers. At least they said next week. We'll see, when it actually rolls out. But this is exactly what it sounds like. You will no longer be able to send gems back and forth. Again, I don't want to give a strong opinion on that. I do know there's been some really controversial stuff. I almost made a separate video on that. Just yesterday, somebody bought like 100,000 gems at like a 0.2 rate. And come to find out, it was dirty gems. And again, I can make a separate video on this, but it looks like the account could have been restricted. Maybe it had to do with credit card fraud, or maybe it had to do with direct bot activity. But I'm not going to go directly into that. But now it's a whole new situation. Now, that's not exactly why they're removing gem transfers. I'm sure there's a lot of other reasons, because they actually pre-recorded this video before that situation even happened. They did talk about the New Zealand compliance law prolonging MTL. So basically, New Zealand wants to be one of the more strict places in the world as far as MTL goes. They want to make sure that they're doing everything right and by the books. So it's been audit after audit. I'm glad that they were transparent about that, and they just kind of gave another reason on why it could be taking so long compared to other companies that we have seen release MTL in a rather faster manner. One thing I did think that was pretty cool about the community update is, and unlike the Twitter Spaces, they're actually able to give visuals. They did go through with the web platform a little bit more. So if you don't know, Veve will eventually not just be an app, it will be on the web, and it looks super clean. And this will also serve as a way to reduce the fees when we go to cash out. Right now it's 10%. Hopefully that can get it lower. And the reason for this is they don't have to go through Apple and Google to do it. It can be separate on its own website. It looked really clean. If you do go watch the video, you can just kind of fast forward to look for the part where they're kind of looking at this. But overall, it's just a lot cleaner than the app is, and probably a lot smoother to navigate. Going back to KYC, it was reaffirmed that it's going to be a slow rollout. So a random amount of users that qualify, I don't really know what that looks like, are going to be confirmed for MTL, and it's going to roll out that way. Right now, everyone that has it is just beta testing. So I'm really not even too sure if people are actually cashing out. It's more of just a testing the process to see if they would be able to cash out. The next thing that we see is something that we've been waiting on for a while. They did address the comics and showrooms, and shout out to Alex for navigating these probably difficult questions to ask your boss. David's response was pretty good on this. Basically, he was saying that they're not prioritizing comics and showrooms yet, just because they're really trying to nail down some of these key components of Veve, which is, as you know, MTL, OUP, and some other things. So while they're still working on comics and showroom, I'm sure it's not going to be expedited at this point, because let's be real, like, I know they want to finish these things, so they're trying their best to be able to finish those. So the next thing they talked about was the wait list, or the drop test. So this is going to be the new drop lottery system, which is where, instead of how the current system is, to where you click right when it's like 1 second left, and then you click, and we're all racing for it. Basically, you'll be in a queue 15 minutes before, and it will be randomly drawn who is able to buy the collectible. And with Master Collector points, which I made other videos on, and with OUP being able to buy more tickets using OMI, that will increase your chances of being able to get drops. It will increase your entries. So instead of just having one entry just from entering the queue, I could have 5 or 10 entries from using MCP points or buying tickets with OMI. This could be starting in April and should be fully implemented by May according to the video. Stopping right there for a second, we did see a hard date. I've seen a bunch of stuff online, and most of it I just think is funny and I kind of brush off, but people get mad at content creators because of dates. There's even like a content creator bingo where like soon when Omi's got Catalyst coming, blah blah blah. I'm just reporting what was said in the community update. I'm not making these dates. I'm reporting what was said. So if you come back to me in April and May and you're like, hey, Chris, you said that in April and May we would get the new wait list. I'm sorry. That's what I was told, and that's what I was reporting. NCP backend is completed. So this should launch early Q2. So these next two things I'm going to cover are a pretty big deal to me because I like looking at volume, previous owners, sales history, and all that fun stuff. So Veve is integrating their own way to see the previous owners inside of the platform. So when you have a collectible, let's say you have a Woody, you can see everyone who's ever had that Woody and all the sales data and transaction data, and hopefully the volume and the real strength of the floors through Veve. But also on Immutable X's end, they're going to update the metadata. So hopefully that's coming in the next few weeks. And this is basically to where you can be able to see the image and the info and the mint under all of the Immutable X listings. Because right now it's really finicky, and I personally don't like it because it's not that useful. You can click on, you can see the transactions, but that's really all you can see. You can't see what's being transacted. You can't see the volume. You can't see the sales history. You can't categorize it into like certain collectibles. But hopefully in the upcoming weeks, we will be able to get more of that metadata shown. I will say, Veve can't say this. Alex kind of alluded to it, but this is on Immutable X's end, and the reason for that is right now Immutable X is integrating with OpenSea. We don't know exactly how that looks, but that's also extremely bullish, and I could do a separate video on that. But I think it's taking longer on their back end of things because of this huge partnership and this huge integration. Overall, David and Dan aren't really able just to throw their partners under the bus like that, so they barely touched on it, but yes, this is on Immutable X's end. So there is a brand new product category coming and new artists. This isn't entirely new. So they did basically leak the product category. I would try to keep it down low, but they said it on the thing. The new category is probably going to be one of ones. So these are individual items where you're the only one that owns that item that looks like that. So these are going to be extremely limited releases. You might be thinking like, oh, just one of one, but that's not necessarily. I mean, like Frank Kozik could release a 5K collection, but they're all unique pieces. They're all different, but I think 5K is a little much. Let's say like a 500 edition, and they're all unique in their own way. I put PFP in question mark because that would be really cool if we could get like a profile picture category, and maybe the one of ones will fall under that. Either way, I think one of ones are going to be really cool. They're going to be very controversial because they're going to be so limited, so people are going to be mad at that because they're not going to be able to have a high chance of being able to get them. But ultimately, that's something that Veve eventually needs to do because one of the ones are really important. They did give the exact amount raised for Ukraine, and this was pretty cool. $782,000 were sent directly to Red Cross and was already received. They posted a nice little video of somebody from Red Cross just saying thank you to the Veve community, thank you to David and Dan for their contributions, and they're going to do more drops in the future, maybe not directly through Frank Kozik or directly through the other artists that they used, but they've had other artists that they're working with, and ultimately they want to provide a way to be able to support refugees in the future through art and through drops. And I'm sure this isn't just Ukraine, but all over the world, just being able to support refugees, which I am completely behind. As far as the promo code, you'll probably notice that in your app, this promo code popped up, and you're kind of wondering what it is. Basically, these will be redeemable. I talked about this afterwards, but there's going to be a decon coming up in London, and then, of course, the one in San Diego. So you might be able to meet artists there, and they might be able to give you a code if you buy the physical that you can redeem it for the digital. They're also working with other partners. I believe they specifically mentioned Marvel, where Marvel basically points their fans to Veve, and they can use like a code to be able to redeem something. So they're basically trying to like do those like physical and digital counterparts, as well as whatever they can use during that promo code section. I've met a lot of UK friends through Veve, and I know they're super excited because there is a Decon London now. And they gave the dates for that, and you can actually go ahead and sign up for it. And that's pretty much all as far as the Veve side of things. There wasn't a whole lot to do on the Ukomi side as far as Omi goes. Basically, they just talked about a little bit different about dates. So like Q2, they talked about the OUP coming and Omi functionality, like Omi to NFT. So again, Q2 is beginning of Q2 is kind of our loose date. They did say something that makes sense, and I do want to point this out because obviously I've made Omi videos in the past, and again, I can't guarantee anybody watching this timelines because I'm not part of the team. I'm not paid to do this. I just cover the information that's out there, but they did note they did note that they don't really want Omi to be on these huge exchanges until they have utility, which completely makes sense because basically when you're listed onto exchange, you have a pretty good bump in volume because everybody's buying because it's easier, and then people are buying into that volume and FOMOing in. But that's usually at the end of the day just a short-term price action. It would probably go right back to where it was, maybe not quite that much because volume and would be spread, but overall it's not great for the long-term potential of the token. But if we're able to get some utility in there, like once you have Omi to NFT, once you have the OUP functionality to where you're able to use your Omi for in-app purchases, use your Omi for like drop raffle and all that stuff, Omi will then have utility, so then there's more of a reason for people to buy it. So they're trying to slow roll these exchanges out so that Omi can have functionality before they get onto these exchanges. David did confirm that they have another top 10 exchange already lined up. I believe he said it was not number 1, but it's top 10. Probably Binance, but who knows? It's somewhere in the top 10. And he even said that it wasn't out of the possibility to get the number 1 one day. I don't have any doubt in my mind that Omi will be listed on all major exchanges eventually. As of right now, yes, I know it's frustrating that it's coming so slow, but at the base of it, they're working on functionality, they're working on utility. And as an investor in the token, there's really not much I can do besides sit back and just hope for the best. But yeah, that's pretty much all they said as far as regarding Omi goes. And that pretty much wraps up the AMA. I know that was really fast. I talk really fast. I'm sorry. I'll try to put subtitles on. But I wanted to get this out to you in a manner to where you don't have to watch an hour-long video and it can be explained in like 10 or so minutes. We'll see how long this video is. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about the AMA, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.